People ask me sometimes, what are some simple ways just to get started? And it's often the case that the first step is the hardest, and if we can take that first step, the other steps will follow. Here are a few tips to begin. First, schedule it. Sometimes we think that because Sabbath is related to recreation or leisure time, that it will just happen without our intervention. And the world doesn't work that way. So even if you need to look 2 or 3 weeks down the road and put Sabbath on your calendar, that's important to schedule it and to set aside that time. Second, think technology. I am a big fan of technology. I love the ways that technology connects us to one another and is a great source of fun and recreation. But technology can also leave us feeling scattered and can separate us from one another. So maybe a place to start with Sabbath is just to put some boundaries around your technology use. Power down the smartphone for a few hours, or turn off the iPad, or stow the video game. Now, if you have children, they may be less than thrilled with this idea. One way to involve them in the process is to help them have a conversation about what might we do with this time if we're not on our gadgets. Help them be a part of the process so they see Sabbath as a joy, something to do together for enjoyment and not a chore. Third is what I call getting re-kiltered. Sometimes when we go through our lives as people who work or volunteer or do chores around the house and raise kids, we can really get out of balance with who we are and what we value. Maybe you work in an office all week, and so Sabbath can be a way to bring yourself back into a sense of balance. So if you're inside all week long, Sabbath is the day to get outside, even if you are doing yard work or other chores around your house. Our family has a lot of introverts in it, and so for us, Sabbath time is a time to rebalance that introverted nature and have time just to ourselves to read or to play or to do things that we enjoy doing in solitude. And finally, and perhaps most importantly for our family, is to live Sabbathly. I talk about this in the book. Sometimes Sabbath time set aside just isn't possible. But what you can do is to bring that Sabbath spirit into everything that you do, whether it's your work or your volunteer work, your chores around the house. You can bring that intentionality and mindfulness and live a sense of presence and joy even in what you're doing. And I would say that we are successful at this probably 50% of the time. It's easy to feel very scattered and busy with all of the things that we have going on in our lives. But if we can set the intention to live Sabbathly, to refuse to hurry and be hectic, that can really benefit us and help lead us into a deeper Sabbath practice. These are just a few tips that have worked for our family. I hope they work for you too.